Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers season is officially over, and there's been a lot of conversation around head coach Mike Tomlin, and should the Steelers actually move on from him, or should they retain him? And today, that's exactly what I'm going to give my thoughts of, because I have a lot to say, and I have an opinion about this because, number one, it has been talked about Mike Tomlin for quite a while now, as far as should he be fired, as far as should he go, as far as should he stay, because Steeler fans, and I can attest, I'm not one of them, I do somewhat root for the Steelers, I'm not going to lie to you guys, because Mike Tomlin is probably one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. The way he leads men, the way he leads his football team, the way he gets the best out of some of the players that he has coached. And you can hear when some of his former players like a Ryan Clark or Troy Polamalu speak about Mike Tomlin, they speak very highly of him, not just as a football leader, not as a coach, but as a leader of men. Why this is a topic of discussion, in my opinion, is that this Pittsburgh Steelers team finished the year with 5 straight losses, and they haven't beat the Ravens in critical moments in a while. They did beat them this season, but as far as some of those critical moments is in playoff time, not just against the Ravens, but as far as late down the stretch, lately in the last couple of years, the Steelers just haven't won a lot of football games in critical moments. And one of those reasons that they haven't won a lot of football games, to me, and I think this goes back for a couple of years with the Steelers franchise, I think that is the quarterback play. Whether it's been Russell Wilson down the stretch, Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky that he's dealt with, Mason Rudolph, an aging Ben Roethlisberger over the last couple of years. And we know this team has not won a playoff game under Mike Tomlin since 2016. But when you think about some of the quarterback play, it has really not been the greatest. And we've seen this year that pattern continued. Even when it was Justin Fields, even when it was Wilson, it just hasn't been the most stellar. Now, we're talking about this last 5 games that the Pittsburgh Steelers have played. And they scored 13 points against Philly. That was the first loss. 17 points against the Ravens, 10 points against the Chiefs, 17 points against the Bengals, and 14 points in this last playoff loss against the Ravens. Now, you cannot win when you're not scoring points. And this Steelers team have a few games this year where they did not reach 20 points as an offense. I think a lot of what the Steelers' struggles have been, or failures at some point, is the quarterback play. Now, Mike Tomlin does have a hand in quarterback play. He does have a hand in the decisions of what the quarterback is going to be. When you have a passing game like the Steelers that really struggled, especially late down the stretch, an offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith that I personally don't think should be getting some head coaching looks, in my opinion, because of the things that he has been unable to unlock with this offense on a consistent basis. I just really feel like, yeah, this Steelers team is achieving, but a lot of Steelers fans are not happy. Now, me personally, I'll be honest with you guys. As a Bears fan, I will take some of what the Steelers have done. They haven't had a losing season under Mike Tomlin's 18 years. Yes, there's been some playoff failures. There have been some times where this Steelers team we thought could be legit contenders, but they just didn't play out that way. Now, lately, I want to say I'll give the Steelers at least these last 5 or 6 years as a football team. This quarterback play has not been good, and they had an offensive coordinator in Matt Canada for a good portion of that, just was not getting the best out of their quarterback play. Now, the one thing that has been consistent with the Steelers organization over the last few years, which is defense. And we had moments this year where the defense let up 34 points against the Ravens in Week 16. They had a moment where they gave up 28 points against the Ravens in this playoff game. They gave up 29 points against the Chiefs offense that's been kind of struggling for the year. They gave up 38 against the Bengals, even though that was a win. And I'll give the Bengals credit because Bengals offense has been, they were at that point where they were catching fire. I think that Mike Tomlin, me personally, as a Steelers supporter in a way, I don't think it's time for Mike Tomlin to go. I think the one thing that has been plaguing the Steelers team is quarterback play. And I think once they solve some of that, solve that issue in particular, we will see a different team when we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They ran the football somewhat effectively. They finished at the year ranked 11th in rushing. They finished the year defensively ranked 6th against the run. The problem is they can't throw the ball very well, which goes back to the quarterback play, which goes back to they need to solve some wide receiver issues, in my opinion. And I think they need to solve some pass protection issues at times as well. And then defensively, I think outside of Fitzpatrick and Joey Porter, I think some of the back end of that secondary and some of the middle linebacker play, even though Patrick Queen, I believe, had a really good season, I think they need to address some of those issues. Now, I do think they need to address some wide receiver issues. I definitely think they need to address that quarterback position because lately down the stretch, it looked like Russell Wilson was not the guy. Justin Fields, I personally didn't see a big enough sample size or big enough of a margin to really debate whether they should bench him or not, or whether they should keep him after this year or not. That's something that will be played out. But I think they have some flaws on this football team. And for this team, nobody thought that they would be number one in contention for that AFC North title. And two, even in the playoffs, especially with the lack of quarterback play, the way that people thought this offensive line was going to perform, I personally think Mike Tomlin got the best out of them. And then on top of that, when we look at this Steelers organization, they're not an organization that fires coaches. They've had 3 coaches, and I want to say since 1970. 3 coaches. Chuck Noll with the famous Steel Curtain 70s defense. You have Bill Cowher, who had his struggle moments, but he eventually got him a Super Bowl. And then Mike Tomlin, who won his Super Bowl early, but his Steelers teams has been consistently winning football games. And if for him to not have a season below 500, I think that speaks a testament to what he is and how he is as a coach. Now, I get it. The standard in Pittsburgh is win Super Bowls. The standard in Pittsburgh is to compete for a Super Bowl every year. But I think since Ben Roethlisberger started to show his age, they held on a little bit too long. And then on top of that, the quarterback play that they have been getting after has been kind of subpar. Now, we know we have T.J. Watt, Cam Heyward from the Ohio State University, that Minkah Fitzpatrick that have been consistently on this defense making plays. Now, the problem, like I've said earlier, is the quarterback position. And I think if they get better quarterback play, we possibly could be still talking about the Steelers probably as AFC North Division champions and being better as a football team because that quarterback play has been inconsistent. And this team has multiple games this year where they did not score an offensive touchdown. They were not good in the red zone. And on top of that, as an offense, they just consistently fail to move the football at big points and at crucial points in the season. I think that's a lot of offensive problem, which has been that problem for the last couple of years. I think Tomlin is a great leader of men, and I don't think the Steelers should change anything. I don't think the Steelers need to fire him or look another direction. I just personally believe the answer to a lot of the Steelers' questions is solving that quarterback position, which has basically been subpar since Big Ben started to show that his age was really a thing. So at the end of the day, should the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin? Absolutely not. And it shouldn't even be discussed. But those are my thoughts. Leave you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.